When you have a loved one who's getting older, struggling mentally or physically, and is having trouble living alone, Care Patrol is here to help you find solutions and make everyone's lives better.
Yeah, they do that. That mission goes beyond placement to something that might be a little harder to talk about. And that's the legal side of elder care and end-of-life planning. And joining us this morning, Melanie Lockerby from Care Patrol and Chris Shourds. He's a local attorney with some tips for families. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Let's talk about that. See, the placement is one thing, but there are many more resources that you provide.
Yes. So we have a bag of resources that we pull out of for each client when we see a specific need. A lot of the times it could be the My Choice waiver. It could be VA aid and attendance. It could be a moving company. It could be a real estate agent. But most of the times they just don't know what to do next and what their trust looks like, or they need some legal advice. So we have tons of attorneys that we work with, but one that we work closely with is Chris Shourds with Pathway Law.
All right, wonderful. So Chris, talk about what you do and how you help families through kind of a tumultuous time.
Yeah, so we're a family-owned estate planning firm. A lot of the work that we do is very personal in nature, right? People are talking with us about planning for incapacity or death, or they're actually coming in when one of those events has occurred. So we have a small team, the two attorneys, it's myself and my wife, Christina. We have a paralegal, Stephanie, who's like family to us, and we try to just have a really comfortable environment because a lot of those conversations can be stressful.
Yeah, do you have any tips on how to start those conversations, right? Because this game, you talk about court, people are going through something, so to deal with that, it seems kind of confusing sometimes.
That's a great question. A lot of times, when dealing with those issues, we tell people, you're just going to have to take a really deep breath, and you're just going to have some honest conversations. I like to start with simple questions. Melanie does the same. What would your life look like if you didn't have to spend the time taking care of this big house? Right? What are you interested in if you didn't have to spend so much time shopping, prepping meals, things like that? How important is it to you to keep your private finances and your healthcare diagnoses, confidential and out of the very public court system?
Wow. And talk about how things end up in court and when you need to do that.
Yeah, so the court that we typically deal with is probate court, and a lot of people have a conception that probate court specifically comes into play when someone has passed away. And that's true, but probate court has jurisdiction, meaning they hear cases of post-death, but also incapacity. So if someone doesn't have estate planning documents in place and they have an event of incapacity, whether it's permanent like dementia or Alzheimer's, or temporary like a stroke or an accident, a lot of times they need someone to be ordered by the probate court to make healthcare decisions and to be able to step into their shoes and make financial decisions.
Yeah. A lot of times that stuff isn't taken care of ahead of time. So this is a great example of how Care Patrol does more than just find the right place.
Correct. A lot of the times we're looking for those who can make those decisions. There are times when I have clients that can't make their own decisions, and they're either, like he said, we're looking for a guardian or conservator to go over and oversee them to make sure that they're making the right decisions for themselves. So that's when I'm referring to Chris.
Well, and I think part of the lesson here is maybe to start early with this process so that you don't have to force these decisions on people who may not want to make them.
I think you hit something with Chris when you said start early.
Right? I mean, is that the advice here?
Yeah, when something really important happens in a life change, I want people to be with their family member, not in our office filling out emergency paperwork so that we can get in the car and go see a judge. So even just baby steps along the way. What we're doing, really is boiled down to who are your most trusted people? Who do you trust to take care of you? And ultimately down the road, who do you want to inherit? And the goal is to just get that on paper in a legal way so that they can, Kent County, we're blessed. We have great judges, but it's always more fun to not have to go see them and to be spending the time with your loved one rather than doing that last minute paperwork.
Absolutely.
Most of mine come emergent situations to him.
Yeah.
Sure. You'd want to spend time with family, not in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But always nice to know that you have referrals for law, for other things that people are dealing with at this time of their lives.
Yep. We want to make sure all of our clients are taken care of.
Wonderful.
And Chris is one of them that will help take care of my clients.
Yeah, they're a
clients.
blessing.
Truly, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Melanie, thank you so much. Chris, thank you
Yeah.
as well. We really appreciate it. You want to learn more about CarePatrol and all of the services they offer, westernmi.carepatrol.com. There's also a phone number there if you'd rather give them a call, 616-773-2085. They'll be right back.